All right, so what did you think of what the senator had to say today?
I love the direction she's talking about. It was basically being here today was kind of like validation of where I knew she would be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I had watched her during the hearings, so and she impressed me there. I wasn't very happy with the way someone
And
treated
when
her.
you say during the hearings, which hearings?
Kavanaugh.
Okay.
Kavanaugh hearings, and that was never brought up today. We're moving past that, and so I think she has a good shot at it. The national news media was here today. We did not expect that today, and so it was good. It was a good day. So she's going down to Albia in a few minutes. Are you going down to Albia?
I am not. Are you?
No, I've got good friends down there. I texted them and told them that there'll be a lot of cameras there. I think a couple of them are already down there. There'll probably be more of them going down there. So, yeah, it's that time of this season, I guess.
Now, are you already supporting her, or are you kind of, shopping around, looking at all the different candidates?
Oh, I'm looking at all the candidates.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the process here in Iowa.
Sure.
And a lot of people, and it is, that's the way it should be probably everywhere. Yeah.
How does she compare to the other candidates that have announced so far?
Wow. I really haven't seen one that I don't like. I mean, I listened this morning to Yang on the TV this morning, and then he had a representative here, Delaney. I've heard him a few times. I heard this one young man that's even thinking about running. He's from that town in Indiana, Notre Dame. I forget his name, but I love their vision. I haven't heard anybody yet that I don't like. So it's going to be a hard choice, but I think it'll be fun to go through this process this time. I hope so.
Do you think it's a good thing that there's so many different candidates?
I think that's the way it should be. When you think about it, when we only have just a small handful of people running for things, and when we start eliminating people because they don't make money, or don't have enough money, and unfortunately that's the reality of it, but I don't think it hurts people running. They're getting their self out there, and they're getting their vision out there. So even a lot of these, if they don't make it, I'm hearing things that I hadn't heard before. I'm learning a lot of different things and perspectives that I hadn't thought about. So that's especially listening this morning, a lot of the things I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. So yeah, let them run and let them educate us, I guess.
Anything in particular that you mentioned that you learned or stood out to you?
From which I don't want to misquote and attribute something to one particular candidate that I learned and then maybe find out that it was from another candidate.
Or an issue?
Yeah, we have to.
Or what are the issues that are most important to you?
To me,
yeah.
I'm an environmentalist. My background was environmental health and my schooling and all that. Climate change. To me, this planet, we don't own the planet. We borrow the planet from our children. And knowing that, we have to take care of it. Now, that's not my quote. That's not an original quote from me. But that's so true, And we really do need to leave a nice place to live for them. So, and I think it's happening faster. It's cold here, but it's extremely hot, like down in Australia. So, and like the other day, the polar bears were invading the Russian towns because, they don't have the ice like they used to. So there's things happening, and I think things are happening faster than most people realize.
What would you like to see done about that?
Quit denying that it's not happening and be proactive. I know Delaney, I think he talked about the carbon tax and things like that, which they're already doing that. Get back into the climate accord, that Trump took us out of, and don't deny that it's happening. It is happening. But, I could get on a soapbox.
It was interesting. Recently, we saw in California that high-speed rail that they were trying to get done, and then they canceled it and said it's going to cost too much, take too long. What did you make of that?
I don't know all the issues. We're just hearing the surface. There may be a lot of underlying things, because California is feeling the impact of a lot of climate issues. We have these fires, monster fires. We're going to have monster storms. And a lot of people don't realize that all of this is going to produce what we call climate refugees. We actually in this country already have climate refugees. People that used to live in places in Alaska for, centuries. They had to leave those areas because, they didn't have the ice to go out and maybe get the food they needed to feed their families. So we already have climate refugees in our country that have had to relocate because of climate change. So, and California, I think all the coast will be feeling those, and they are starting to feel it. So,
all right, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm retired now. I am not originally from Iowa. I grew up in East Tennessee, so I was around chemical factories growing up, and that was probably why environmental issues were important to me, because I could see Tennessee Eastman Kodak plant, the fumes, the junk in the air, the stuff that would fall on your house and your car that, I don't know what you would call it, but it was, pollutants. But then I went in the Air Force. I was in there 8 years, used my GI Bill, went back to school, and then I was a veteran, or am a veteran, and then started working with the VA, and they moved me to Iowa. So that's the little short book. So I haven't lived here all my life. And
the VA, which closed down.
Yes, yeah, and it did. So, and this is a small rural town, and in the last census, it has lost people. The rural communities are losing. And I don't think people in rural areas really fully understand the why behind those changes. And they're not going to get any better unless there's some major things. I live in a rural area. I do have access to internet, but I also know the internet speed I have is fine right now for my husband and I, but it's not very fast. I would not personally move somewhere else in Iowa where I did not have decent internet speed. And I know several people that have moved into Iowa from other places, and then they bought farms or whatever, and then all of a sudden they realize, I can't get internet except expensive internet from a satellite. So that right there is going to limit the growth in rural Iowa. There's a lot of other factors. We keep bees, so we're in environmental things and sustainability and teaching things like that. Yeah, I'll get on my soapbox about the Iowa landscape.
Very good. Would you say and spell your name?
My name is Sheila Weldon. You want me to spell it?
Yes.
Sheila Weldon, Weldon.
And you live here in Knoxville?
Just right outside of Knoxville.
Just right outside Knoxville.
About just a couple of miles. So, and we've had a lot of snow. But I like living out in a rural area.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you much.